If you ever want to see my dirty, naughty, filthy content and be able to talk to me personally, I have a VIP OnlyFans page. It is onlyfans.com/fitsid. That is actually how I make this podcast possible, is through, making money on my OnlyFans and stuff. So if you want to go and support me, you can go to onlyfans.com/fitsid, or you can go to my free OnlyFans, which is onlyfans.com/xxxfitsid. I'm your host, Fitsid, and welcome back to Dirty CEO, where we go balls deep into the reality of what people are really thinking. Now let's get into it. Dirty CEO. Hey everyone, it's your girl Fitsid, and welcome back to Dirty CEO. I'm here with Matt, aka Matt Luscious, right?
Yeah, that's my Instagram.
Yeah, and then you go by like Creamy Gorilla, and then what else do you go by? Creamy Bros.
Yeah.
And what else?
Creamy Gorilla is for Twitter, and then Matt Luscious is like my name, and then also my Instagram, and then Creamy Bros is me and Rowan. So.
Yeah. So okay, first of all, I met you at XBIZ Miami, and like we clicked. Now we're sharing an Airbnb, really getting to know each other. And it's kind of fun because you know how when you just meet someone and you instantly like have things to talk about? Matt and I definitely do, even though our lives are so different. Like you're from Canada.
Yeah, we just had like a great we've been talking for like the last like a couple hours. We've been having great deep conversations.
Yeah.
We almost like could have kept the cameras on for that.
Yeah.
Probably would have been a good podcast, to be honest.
Honestly, yeah, we were talking about like really awesome things, but it's funny because like our lives in general are pretty like different. Like what's your typical day like? And oh, by the way, just to mention you guys, he does as well.
Yeah.
But he's also like, as you can see, if you're watching the podcast, you can see he's very, very fit, has a lot of muscle, and definitely takes care of his health.
Yeah. Like for me, like the adult stuff is like my main source of income. And then, but I really have a passion for fitness. So like pretty much my whole life revolves around eating and then training. Cause like that's what I like to do in my free time. Like I get up, have my coffee. I don't eat in the morning because I eat pretty late and really need to eat in the morning. And then I'll go train for like 1 to 3 hours, depending on the amount of time I have, cardio and working out. And then I'll come home and do like any content that I need to make, which might take an hour or 2 hours if I need to make any that day, any custom videos or anything. And then I'll edit videos, and then I'm pretty taxed to do anything else. I go for like walks and stuff. But yeah, my life when I'm not like traveling or working, I like to just work out, and that's my favorite thing to do, to be honest.
And you kind of live like not in the city either, so you really are around like nature and just like a more simple daily life. Like you don't live in an apartment where you have to like fight to get on the subway or anything. Because some people I talk to, their lives are so different than mine. Because like I'm like in the suburbs, you guys, and like you are too. Other people that I know are like constantly having to like fight traffic, and like their lives are like a lot more fast paced. I feel like yours is more like what you genuinely want to do.
Yeah, it wasn't always like that. Like I never lived in the country, but once I moved out there, it was in the middle of winter. You know, we came from Ontario and then moved into the east coast of Canada, and it was in the middle of winter. It was really cold and snowy. We didn't know anyone, and it was kind of depressing, to be honest, because I wasn't used to it. And then now I can really appreciate the peacefulness of just like, you know, being out in the country and just everyone just being really chill, slow way of life.
Yeah.
And you can still enjoy the city, the perks of being near a city, but you're still away from it. So it's really calm. And it's just like really de-stressing for me to like walk around my neighborhood. That's what I really appreciate about living in the country now.
How long have you been in fitness? Like how long have you been working out?
So both my parents are like they own their own personal training studios. I've kind of been like around the fitness lifestyle for my whole life. My dad's a bodybuilder and stuff. So for me personally, I never really got into it myself until I was 14 when I tried like working out. Literally like right after I got into grade 9, first year of high school, I started to just experiment with working out at home, and I started to get a bit of muscle. I never had any attention from girls, and that was like my first attention from like any girls, and that gave me confidence. And then that's honestly why I started working out. So to be honest, that's literally why.
So you started working out to get attention from girls?
No, that's not why I started, because I started, I just noticed that because I like my confidence was always good. I was always like good at talking to people when I was younger. And then but I never like, you know, I never felt like I was like a good looking guy. And then when I started to exercise, I just started to realize like, oh, this is giving me attention. Like this is, and that's kind of what kept me to it. But then after a
Yeah.
while, it's not about that at all. I mean, sure, you
Mhm.
like that, but
It
at this
makes you feel
point,
good.
it makes me feel good. It's like I need to do it. Like I haven't worked out these last couple of days, and it feels great to give my body a rest. But I
Mhm.
can't wait till I can go back on Tuesday and go to the
Right.
gym. It's just you get a feeling like you never ever get.
Yeah, it's a different type of feeling. And, like, I feel like with the industry we're in, like, looks matter to a point, and, like, with where you're at and the type of content that you make, which I'll have you explain more in depth, but th the fans that you have appreciate your body.
That's why I really like it too, because I do work hard for it, and I mean, might as well have people appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, and also, you guys, he ended up winning one of the XBIZ awards, and so it was really funny because after I met them, I knew there was something special about them, talking about Matt and Rowan, because I met them together as, like, a duo for Creamy Bros, and then they ended up going up on stage and winning an award. How did you even get into
Yeah. So Rowan, the
Mhm,
guy that we're talking about, he's my best friend. We met when we were 16 or 17. I can't remember. Yeah, I think we were like 16,
mhm,
and we were just at like I just went to a house party in my hometown, and he just was happened to be there. And then the cops came to the house party. He was like,
mhm,
"Yo, dude, we got to leave. Like, come in my car." I was like, "Okay." And then I got in his car, and then we just kind of talked a bit.
mhm,
And he was from the city that's about like 20 minutes outside of mine, so it was kind
mhm.
of random that he was there, and it was just kind of a random coincidence that we
Yeah,
met that night. So such a random coincidence. If we never met that night, then we wouldn't have been friends, and we wouldn't have I wouldn't have gone into the industry.
yeah,
So to answer your question, we after we met that one time, we kind of didn't really like talk that much. We had each other on Snapchat, but we didn't really talk
yeah,
too much. And then a couple years later, we linked up to go to a music festival when we were like
mhm.
18, and he had a girlfriend that he was doing Chatterbait live streams with, couple shows.
How long had they been in it? Like, were they
9
still pretty
months.
new? Oh, so they had
Yeah.
done it for a while,
They
okay.
they they actually went. The reason what got them doing it was because they moved out together, and they ended up pretty much going viral one day, and they
Mhm,
kept on doing it. But then he said, like we do the couple shows, but do you want to try doing a show with us? And
mhm.
we just need another female to do it as well. So then we'll do it'll be two guys, two girls,
Yeah.
four-way show.
So did
And
he just message you and ask you that?
he said it in person. He's like,
Oh,
you know,
at the
like yeah,
festival.
yeah. When we were at the festival, they just threw it out there, and I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's I'm working at a restaurant and as a trainer at a YMCA, and then doing a bit of personal training on the side. That's what I
Yeah.
used to do. I was like, that sounds like. I mean, I'm open to trying it.
Mhm.
So fast forward a couple weeks later, there's a girl that they met at a festival,
Mhm.
and she came down from a city like a couple of hours away, and she was kind of like on the edge about trying it out, but then she ended up doing it. And then we did a stream on Chatterbait, and it went
Mhm.
well for me. I was nervous, but it was fun, and then that's pretty much what kicked it off. So we started doing those.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, and it's crazy how it starts at, like, when you meet someone, like, how you meet them. Just like how I met you guys. Like,
Yeah.
I obviously, you go to things and events, like, you didn't think going to a house party, you're gonna make a new friend, you know?
No.
And then I think it's gutsy that they asked you that.
Yeah, like, they kinda just they didn't really straight up ask me. They're just like, "Yeah, like, if you ever wanna try it, like, you can do it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like, what do you mean?" Like, it's like, "Do you can do it with us." Like, just, I was like, "Oh, that's I didn't know
Do you
you were
remember
looking
how
for
much money you made from that stream?
that." That was actually a really good stream. I think we how many tokens did we I think we each made, like, $800 US, I think,
Wow.
each, like, which is, like, which I was like,
That's
"Holy."
insane. That's
I was
awesome.
like, "Wow," like, that and I was really shocked, and but it's interesting how that's the
Mhm.
way it started, and then now, like, Creamy Bros, we would have
Mhm.
never expected that we would have had
Mhm.
that brand and doing that instead, like,
Yeah, so
that our main
explain how it
focus.
went from that and evolved over.
Yeah. So, doing we were doing that's called Whipped Creamy, that was his brand with,
Mhm.
they were doing that, and then, once I started doing it with them, it was just doing the four-way shows. But during
Mhm.
COVID, there was some issues with like you finding other talent to work with and stuff.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, "Can I, dude? Do you care if I do like a solo stream? Try it out,
Mhm.
like just a solo guy. We'll do on the male side of Chatterbait. Try it
Mhm.
out. Okay, did it. It was a pretty good stream. It wasn't bad. Like I made a
Mhm.
good amount doing it. It's like okay, that's
What
good.
would be a good night and a bad night?
So like if you're doing it with four people, then
Mhm.
it's gonna be split more ways.
Yeah.
But then if it's one person,
Yeah, what's a one person good day?
um, I mean, it also depends on how long you're on for. Like,
Mhm.
so for four of us to be on, for just to
Mhm.
put it in perspective, if we would do like a stream that would be 2 to 4 hours long,
Mhm.
and then if we did, if we would have a goal for 25,000 tokens to go into the
Mhm.
into the show, And then like I'm sure you'd make extra tokens. So minimum 25,000 tokens, but usually around like 30,000, which is what we'd aim for if it was 4 people. And then that's well, each token's 5 cents US. So if you do the math, I can't really. I'm
You're
really
okay.
bad at math,
No.
but doing
That
off by
gives
heart
me a
right now.
perspective, though.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
So if you're doing solo, like if you're on for like 1 to 3 hours and making like, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 20,000 tokens, it can be good. Just it's really chill though. Also streaming because if you're doing a solo stream, depending on what you're doing, for me, because I identify straight, like it's usually just off and showing my asshole and stuff like that.
That's so
Yeah.
cool though. And so then, sorry I interrupted you. I just was curious about the good and bad day. But so how did it continue evolving? So you did that solo stream, and then and was that on that Whipped Creamy account, or was it on?
Yeah, so it was on the Whipped Creamy account, and then it was Rowan's birthday, and he had a friend that he's always been talking to. Long story short, we're like, why don't we do a 3-guy stream? Like Rowan has never done a stream with a guy focused stream before, and he knew that I did one. So me, him, and his friend went on, and it was really good. We actually made like just as much as we do like a 4-way stream. We're on for way longer. We made just as much doing that, and we're like, oh, that's a good idea, And then he's really good at like coming up with stuff on the spot. So he's like, the name's gonna be Creamy Bros, and then from then on, we would just do streams, me and him, and then it kind of evolved from like us just sitting at a desk like talking, and that's pretty much what Creamy Bros streams usually consist of. Like it's just us just being ourselves kind of and just like chatting and chilling. But if people want to see us do like stuff, like off and like each other off, stuff along the lines of that, occasionally have another guy on and to do more social stuff with, but it's pretty chill and just pretty like people we actually be really silly on it as well. Like we dance around, and you can tip dancing, which isn't really it's stupid dancing kind of, but we just be silly and have a good time, and that's pretty much what Cream Bros is.
And how long has Creamy Bros been a thing?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so that's been since 2019.
Wow.
And that's the Chatterbait side. But then this past year, we made creambros.com, which is our website. Yeah, so it's those two.
Wow, that is so cool. It's kind of interesting too, because like I feel like people when they get into like, first of all, did you think you were gonna stay in the? Did you even think it was? When you started,
honestly,
streaming is.
Yeah. I thought I was. Yeah, I did think it was. But I didn't know which way I would be going in, and I would never expected me to do the male stuff, like the gay. I would never expect myself to do that. Like looking back, I was much more like closed-minded and stuff. I would totally be like, "Oh, I'm never doing that. I'm never doing that." And then you start to get more and more open-minded as you go along.
Yeah, and you also start to see like because this is the thing is like when you hear certain sentences and you're not experiencing it or anything, like it sounds like your perspective is different. But once you're in like streaming for you at the time, like you were in that streaming mentality, you were like, oh, it's easy to do this solo stream. And then the solo stream turns into you guys all hanging out. And then it turns into more and more and more. But it's not like an overnight thing that's extreme, like an extreme change. And for me, like when I got in, I started with like not showing my eyes and stuff. And I was first a bikini barista. Well, first I did fitness and then I did bikini barista. So like the clothes came off a little bit more. And then I did Snapchat and showed off, everything that was there, but like with my eyes not showing. And now I do like whatever type of I want to do. But I would have never expected to be like genuinely my whole life revolving around and like being like, oh, is this top too showy? Like, because my brain just wears clothes all the time. But if you would have told me that when I first started, I would have been like, no, I'm just a bikini barista. I just serve coffee in a bikini. Like that's all, But
yeah, you never know what's gonna happen in your life. That's kind of like the fun part of life is like you don't know exactly what you're gonna be doing like 5 to 10 years from now. And
it's crazy that you were like a YMCA personal trainer.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that job too.
YMCA, isn't that like Youth Christian Men's Club or something?
Yeah, that's what it stands for. It's like it's just a community center essentially. Like
no, I know it is, but it's funny the Christian part. Like you're over here a YMCA trainer gone wrong.
I know. It was funny because like when I started to do this job, I really liked the manager and they were really nice to me at that job. So to quit it, I was like, yeah, I'm just going. I told them like I sent her an email at first just to give her a heads up, and then I told her in person like, yeah, I'm gonna be leaving you guys. And she's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to be going to school for this and that. And then like I just didn't want to tell them that I was
Yeah.
doing, doing that. So
How did you tell your family?
so my mom's really chill, really
Mhm.
open-minded. Like I literally tell my mom everything.
Mhm.
She's open-minded as hell. So I just like straight up like told her one day like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. And they asked like if I just told that my mom that that's like what my friend's doing.
Mhm.
And then she's like, oh, that's interesting. Like oh, like tell me more about it. Like she was kind of just like wondering about it.
Yeah.
And then one day I told her like he's like give me the opportunity to try it out. And then mom's
Mhm.
like, well, like it's up to you. Like you have to make your own decisions. Like,
Mhm.
make your own decisions. And then as I went on, my mom started to realize like, if you're making good decisions and you
Yeah.
have a good head on your shoulders,
Yeah.
whatever you do in life, if you're not hurting anyone, it doesn't matter. My dad, I've had lots of anxiety telling him about it because he's like more,
Mhm.
when I told him, he's like, the first thing he says, what does your mom think about this? And then,
Are you don't have to tell me, but are your parents together?
no, no,
No,
not,
so then the discussion's different too because you have to have totally
yeah.
separate conversations.
My mom, it was not really stressful at all.
Mhm.
But my dad, like it was a bit stressful. And like my dad, they kind of just at first they were just like, yeah, just just if you need to do it at first just to make some money so you can do something else later, just do it. But this is a career for me now, so
Mhm.
it's totally different.
And how often does it come up? Does it ever come up?
Oh well, at this point, like my mom will ask how things are going, and then they pretty much
Mhm.
those ask like, what have you been up to? How
And
are
you
things
never get
going?
detailed. I
I
think
won't
that's
give details about like what I'm actually doing, but I'll
yeah.
tell them rough details. And my dad is
Yeah.
like, it's a big different, it's a big shift from what he was.
Mhm. I think that's interesting things with my parents too. Like my mom texted me like a couple minutes ago and was like, "I hope you're having fun in Miami." But like she, obviously like she doesn't really know like everything we're filming and like the fact that I'm helping you guys film your game and like I'm literally over here like, "Wow, that was such a good shot." Like with my mom, she's like, "I hope you're having fun." And I'm like, "Yeah, mom, I'm having fun." Like, you know, and it's not like they need to know the details, but at the same time, I do know that like people in my family, their friends bring up my job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know about your family if that's a problem, but I have this issue where like people just constantly feel the need to be like, "Oh, blah blah blah. Do you know what Sydney's doing? Do you know what your daughter's doing?" And I'm like, "Why do they feel the need to say that when like, you know what I mean?"
Yeah, I think I'm lucky because like I don't know if anyone like talks to my mom or my
Mhm.
dad knows because my mom or my dad probably would have said something to me and like,
Yeah.
but I don't. There's a chance that people in my
Mhm.
family, like extended family, have seen it online
Mhm.
and then they just don't say anything
Yeah.
because I don't know. I just remember I visited my family that lives in Ontario. I went and
Mhm.
visited them this past summer, and there's like a part of my like I'm not going to say like what part of the family they
Yeah.
were, but they were just like really they they treated me different then than the
Yeah.
recent time that I saw them. They just seemed like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? And then they didn't really say much to me. Like
Yeah.
they didn't want to engage in conversation versus like the first time. So maybe they know they found out because
Yeah.
they do have there is there's other people that do follow me on like my personal
Mhm.
Instagram, or maybe they found out my my Matt Luscious one.
Mhm.
So, but I mean, is I think that as long as they don't say anything to my mom, it doesn't matter. But to be honest, I don't really give it at all. If they
Yeah.
think it's my
Well, I mean,
career, like
and you've
I
been doing
actually
it for a
genuinely don't
couple
care.
years.
Yeah, yeah, I don't care honestly. I actually genuinely care more if how my mom feels about it, or like
Mhm.
my closest family. Like if
Yeah.
my
The people who are
grandparents don't know.
there every day for you, you know, those
Yeah,
are the people that for me, it would break my heart if, like, they didn't support me, but they do, thankfully, so I don't have to worry about that. But how do you so, obviously, your typical days are like, you know, you explained that. Is that part of why you love doing what you do? So you can go to the gym, you can do what you need to do, and then and on top of that, like, traveling for work is kind of fun too, isn't it?
oh, to be honest, yeah, like I'm really grateful for my career. Like even though I am straight and doing gay, that's a whole
Yeah, which I wanna get
conversation.
into that
Yeah,
too.
it's really interesting like to hear the perspective, but um it does allow me to do
Mhm,
what I really love, which is like I like have being able to like go to the gym as long as I want and just
mhm.
have the freedom to just like really focus on the things that I do love. And then it also ties into my career because I need to have a
Fit
good
and
physique.
healthy,
All the
yeah.
guys who, support me, they like they like me because of my physique.
Yeah,
So
so what are you known for?
um
Like, what
a
are the
lot
things that sell the most for you?
for me, like most of the stuff, like any type of content that's with like other guys does
Mhm,
really well. But
mhm.
like for custom videos, it's a lot of just they like to see me as like more of a dom, but not the conventional like BDSM way, just like be dominant, like flexing, muscle worship, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. That's like probably the most common custom video requests.
Mhm.
But people just like seeing me do whatever. Like pretty much any content sells pretty good.
If you're interested in supporting me and seeing more of my naughty, raunchy content, you can actually go straight to my OnlyFans. I have 2 of them. I have a free OnlyFans, which is onlyfans.com/XXXFitsid, FITSID. So XXX Fitsid. Or you can go to my VIP OnlyFans, and that is $35 a month, but everything is unlocked. And that link is onlyfans.com/Fitsid. So it's literally just my name. But if you're interested in supporting me, seeing my wild side and my sexplorations, then you can go there. I also have a website, fitsid.com, which has links to all of my socials. And yeah, I just appreciate you listening. But if you want to see more of my stuff that I talk about on here, you can go over to my OnlyFans. What's the weirdest request you've gotten?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so the weirdest request I think that I've gotten, when we were doing a cream bro stream, we got an email saying there's this thing called a dermoid cyst.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and
you did tell me about this. This is so nasty,
yeah,
guys.
I think Rowan might have told you about it, but he wanted to send the dermoid cyst to us.
By the way, he told my mom this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rowan literally went and told my mother this at a coffee shop.
Yeah,
Keep going.
yeah. So he wanted to send it to us, and then for like us to bust on it, and then send it back to him, and then he's gonna take a video of him eating it or something like that.
You guys didn't do that?
No, we didn't do that. Yeah, that was probably that was probably like the most like, whoa. There's a lot of gross ones, like anything to do with like like that's
I knew that was gonna come up.
It's pretty like I've gotten.
Would you ever?
No, just honestly, the only reason is because I find it really gross. Like peeing, I would like people ask for pee, but like I've done a couple ones where it's just like me peeing in the toilet or stuff. But then I've heard that OnlyFans might not allow it.
Yeah,
so then I just don't. I say no to it now.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of.
I've honestly like contemplated doing a video because I get so many requests, and I'm like,
oh really?
Yeah, and I'm like, do I really want to put that on the internet or not? But it's a very interesting thing because once you get asked that after 4 years of being constantly asked that, and like I get asked that probably like once a day on some platform, I wonder, will I ever do that? Eventually, because now sometimes I'm like, do I feel like that today? Like sometimes I actually question it, but I always wonder what other people, because that to me is probably like a weird request. But the dermoid cyst thing I think is so wild.
Yeah, that one stuck to us. Oh, I'll actually say another one that I kind of just went blank, but a really common a lot of people have asked for, like that I've done tons of custom videos for, is there's this thing called a giant fish, and it's like
giant test.
Have you heard of it? Like maybe you've gotten requests for it too, but like it's kind of like tied into the muscle worship thing. But they pretty much, it'll be a video of like the camera's down on the ground, and then I'll like pretend to pick them up. Oh yeah, you're so small down there, and then I'll role play with like a berry, like a little, or like anything small that's little, and I could rub them along my body, and then I'll use the camera as a feel. I'll make a whole good custom video, like for people.
Awesome.
A lot of people have ordered those, and it's like I was like, what the. Like some custom videos are really odd, but I do them, and they're not like bad in any way. They're not offensive, right. But yeah. So
that's cool. I didn't even think about a berry. You know what I use? Little army guys.
Yeah, that's better. It makes more sense. I just use that because I can actually eat it. They want me to eat them.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
When you said that, I was like, that's actually a really good idea. Like that's pretty smart.
Yeah, because they always, for some reason, they say, yeah, at the end you're gonna put me in your mouth and then swallow me, and then you're gonna say, oh, now I'm trapped in your alpha belly. Like it's really odd, but it's
cool though. I think these are really interesting to explore because it's someone out there is literally paying you for that content, which means they really, really love it.
Exactly. Yeah. And on OnlyFans, because I chat with everyone on there, anyone who's wants to have a genuine conversation, like people who order the customs like that, I say like, just out of curiosity, how did that develop? And we talk about it because I'm curious. Like I'm not judgmental at all, obviously, and I'm just really curious, like because it's interesting to me as well.
Yeah.
And I get to actually understand the psychology behind their, which is cool too.
So you being straight and being in gay, how does that affect you?
Yeah, so it's like
And how did you, like, feel the first time you did that?
it's a slow transition, like
Mhm.
with a lot of baby steps along the way. But it kind of started with like when we, like on Korean Bros just off next to each other, and like people really wanted to see us get a sucked by a guy. They really wanted to see that, so we're like, hey, we're gonna make a big show,
Mhm.
a big Chatterbait stream to do it for the first time. And like obviously we didn't get hard or anything, but it was like really I was really shaking and stuff. Like it was pretty like a big step. But yeah, that we did that stream. It was a really great, like that was one of the best streams we ever did.
Mhm.
And then yeah, so getting your sick by a guy, and then that turned into like, okay, we'll do a show for like us gonna make out, like kiss, and we'll just kiss each other,
Yeah.
me and Ro, and then
Yeah.
for us to make out, and then that was like really awkward. That was actually the most awkward thing that we
How'd
had.
you feel after that? Because it's your best friend.
That's why people don't understand. Like the audience, they're like, come on, like they just want to see us do it. But like
Mhm.
for us, it's like we couldn't stop laughing. It is so awkward. And then now it's really easy for us to
Yeah.
do it for a
Well,
video.
now once you get, like, not into it in that way, but, like, into it knowing, like, okay, like, we're streaming right now, this is stream time, not, like, normal life, it's work. You have, like, a different mentality, like, there's so many things that, like, at this Airbnb that we've all been doing this whole time, and, like, when you're on camera, like, this is, like, me doing my career, so it becomes normal. I know the first time I started filming, I felt so weird, like, saying certain things, but then I was like, "Sydney, like, when you're fucking horny and your brain goes blank, this is the shit you say. You dirty talk this shit to yourself." So, like, the kissing thing, it's like, it's, to them just a kiss, but to you, like, you have to understand it's work.
Yeah, and it was work, but it was also like
Mhm.
really awkward for us to do the
Yeah.
first time. But then yeah, so it was that, and
But
then
now it's work,
yeah,
you're like, "Whatever."
yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, we have more and more guys like on to suck us off and stuff, and that
Mhm.
was like the main thing because we didn't want to like we didn't do actually sucking for a
Mhm.
long time.
How long do
Um,
you think it took to get to that point?
when the first for that was also a Chatterbait stream, and then
Uh-huh.
that took that was probably
Please tell me you made a lot of money on that one.
that one was actually more than the one we got. Our suck was it was like the show was really good,
Mhm.
and then someone actually paid us to do it. There was the star named Marcus Cage
Uh-huh.
to do a stream with us at Rowan's old house,
Mhm.
and then someone in the room, our big tipper that we actually have a good
Mhm.
relationship with, he was like, "I'll pay you like so and so amount to do it," and we're like, "Is it worth it? Yeah, let's do it." Okay, and we just
Yeah.
did it, and it was interesting. And then now, like for me, like sucking another
Mhm.
guy, like I don't get off on it at all. But like if they like it, like great,
Yeah.
you know?
And so how does that work in your brain? Like, because obviously you have to stay hard. And I know that, like, obviously when you won your XBIZ award, you guys said, shout out to Trimex,
Yeah,
Cialis and Viagra.
yeah, yeah,
So obviously you have to take things sometimes to shoot. Do you sometimes not need to?
yeah. So it honestly, like for me, it'll be like it's all in the head. Like it really comes down to like in
Mhm.
your head. The Cialis, like that stuff when you take it, like it'll just keep your hard. Like it'll just make
Yeah.
it hard the whole time, and it'll just be extra hard if you don't have it, like if you're you still will. But if you're doing something where you're totally not aroused, it's just a matter of like going into a place you're in your head where you're
Yeah.
thinking about stuff that's going to get you aroused. And yeah, like yeah, there's lots of times where I didn't use it. But then if you're in like a bad mental state,
Mhm.
like where you're like stressed out or anything's not in line, where and then like stressed about this or this and that, like you're not getting. So then
Right.
that's when like you got to use the extra tricks. But yeah, if I'm ever working with the girl that I like
Mhm.
a lot, like it's not I don't need anything obviously.
Right. And you
And then with the
started
guy, I don't need
with
to all the time.
girls originally,
Yeah.
and then you guys ended up with, do you make way more money doing the guy stuff?
Yeah, yeah. So like, but what's interesting is the people will still buy
Mhm.
stuff with girls, but it's obviously like the main
Yeah.
audience is they like to see me in general, but
Yeah.
it's mainly guys. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing with, like, Rowan, when we were shooting our content, like, sometimes I would take, like, a POV from my angle without me in it, because I can see why people pay from guys, you know what I mean? Like, not even just gay, but, like, the solo stuff, because, like, I know, like, guys are hot when they're jacking off, you know? And, like, so when I was filming it, I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Wow, like, this is, like, a really good angle. This looks really good right now." And I told you earlier, I was like, I hope you oil yourself up every once in a while. Cause I think about those things. I'm like, that would look so hot. Like, I understand why people think that just women can thrive in, but you have to just have gay fans for you. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
you don't really have a lot of female fans at
No,
all.
no,
Yeah.
I don't like, I don't know any that, yeah, I don't know any. I don't think there's like, there's
Yeah.
probably like maybe like out of all of them, there's probably a few, but it's been, yeah, it's mostly guys. Yeah.
So when it comes to dating, because you do gay, I know you're not that in like you're not even looking for anyone like, but have you had an experience while you've been in the industry like trying to talk to a normal girl and then telling her what you do?
So for me, like, most of the girls that I've talked to,
Mhm.
they're like, they're really open minded. Like we'll talk about stuff, and then they don't really judge me
Mhm.
for it. I've talked to other girls, who I'm like more on the friend side of things with,
Mhm.
that I could talk on that level with, and I've asked them like, because like I think about that stuff in the future, like how am I going to find a partner for
Mhm.
if I want to have a kid, and like they're gonna actually think about this guy that I'm gonna have a
Mhm.
kid with. What has he done in his past? Like, if he's done gay, they're
Mhm.
gonna look it up and see, do I want my father of my son to
Mhm.
have that history? But it depends. I really think it does come down to the person, and how you are with that person. How
Yeah.
you come off to them, and how they see you, and
Mhm.
then there's like, yeah, a big majority will. It might like for an average person, if like an average girl, if I talk to them, depending on who they are and like their interaction with me, they'll probably judge at first, and so it might be different. But for me, I haven't actually,
Yeah.
any girl who I've talked to, they haven't. It wasn't an issue at all.
But I also feel like too, like if someone does judge, it's not the right person because
Exactly.
you're so
Yeah.
open-minded and like progressive at this point that you wouldn't probably want to have a kid with someone who doesn't see that there's way more than just that for you, you know? And that's something for me, like whenever I'm talking to someone, if they at all make me feel uncomfortable or what however I feel and it's not a good feeling, I'm like, this isn't the right person for me because like I'm so open-minded, but I also like want someone that respects me and doesn't like make me feel like I'm just this one part of who I am. Like there's so much more to me. And so yeah, it's interesting though, because like I feel like you have a different situation than like a lot of people I know. Because first of all, I don't have that many friends that I can talk to about like doing gay because like most of my friends aren't even in general. And then the ones that I do have are girls usually. So like I don't even, lesbian considered like hot when guys are talking to you. Like, most guys, in my opinion, are like, yeah, you can your friends, like that's fine.
Yeah.
Versus like you flip it and girls are a lot more insecure too. Girls are always, in my opinion, like I always hear on the internet, oh, my last boyfriend was gay, all this stuff. And it's like, was he really? Or are you just saying that because you're being judgmental of like the fact that he didn't want to fuck you?
Yeah. Like I always like because Rowan talks
Hmm.
to a lot of more girls than
Yeah.
me, because he's really
He's
social and
bubbly.
stuff. Yeah, bubbly. You guys will learn about that when he comes on the podcast. But uh he'll have a lot of experiences, and
Hmm.
he notices like girls, how he
Hmm.
girls will find out that he does that, and then he'll notice like, oh yeah, some girls won't even, just because of that, they'll be like, oh, everything's so perfect, but just because of that, I'm not gonna. But for me, that's like just that aspect of them, to me, for some reason, like I understand it's very taboo and it's different for the
Yeah.
average person to see, but for me that's automatically like, I don't want someone who's gonna, I understand why, but I just want someone who's open minded and just
Yeah.
likes me for like,
Well,
um,
it's a deeper connection then because if they can see past that and just keep getting to know you, then like they clearly see something in you that they want to keep getting to know. If there's that block, I always say this to my friends when they're dating someone and the guy like rejects them. I'm like, they did you a favor because if they stop being interested like a week in over something silly, they would have lost interest when they really deep down get to know you and like the flaws because everyone puts their best foot forward in the beginning and like you're perfect for the first like 3 months, right? And then you start being like, oh yeah, here's my problems, here's my issues. So if they can't look past the little things and like the daily life stuff, then like they're not someone that would work out anyway. That's what I tell my friends whenever they're like crying over a dude because I'm like, it's true. Like it's not gonna work out if they can't look. look at that and be like, yeah, that's their job. I want a man that like doesn't sexualize my job, you know, like he can have a adult conversation about it. Because I feel like for me, it's fine if they think it's hot, but it's different. I want someone that'll like treat it like it's a job. Like when I'm done working, like not ask me like, ooh, who'd you today? Like I want to hear them say, how was work, baby? Like, or you know what I mean? You know, like there's like that
Yeah.
different respect level.
Yeah.
What do you look for though when you're looking to date?
So I've actually the last time I actually went on an actual date
Mhm.
with a girl was in the summertime, like this past summer, like
Yeah.
or sorry, it's the summertime right now. Last summer of last
Mhm.
year, that's like the last time I went on an actual like date with a girl.
Mhm.
And so and then that person was like I like that type of person.
Mhm.
So that's probably why we went on a date. But I like someone who's just really open minded, who I can just
Mhm.
have genuine conversations with,
Mhm.
like just genuinely talk to them with. I like someone who's really into just cares about their health, fitness,
Yeah.
and then their mental health, like
Do
everything
you
to do with
think
health. I
do you
really
think the
value
person
that.
has to go to the gym every day?
No, they don't have to go every day. They don't even have to be like into the gym totally. I
Mhm.
just want them to be like into just being, just taking care of,
Mindful of
just
it?
mindful of their
Uh-huh.
health, like just being, just kind of into that sort of just fitness and health
Mhm.
in some aspect. Just
Yeah.
caring about their body and just having
Yeah.
respect for themselves in that way. That's all.
Yeah, no, I was just asking because you know, some
Yeah, yeah.
people say that and, like, they mean, like, go to the gym every day,
No, no,
and then other
that's what I would
people
really like. I would really like that.
yeah. I
Sorry.
because I no, don't be sorry. I think it's cool because like, one thing that, you know, you could bond over with someone because you are really into fitness. Like, we were talking about that the other night. If he wasn't in this career because it takes a lot out of you every day to work out, do this, but otherwise you'd be a personal trainer again.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I used to do, and I genuinely like I loved it so much, and I'm gonna do it again at some point. I'm gonna be working in a gym at some point,
Yeah.
like again, because I just love being in the gym and just watching people exercise when I'm not there. I'm watching videos related to it.
Mhm.
I don't know, I just love the feeling that it gives me, and then the how you can always see progression. You can always better. You can always better some part of it. Change. You can. There's always something new to strive for to become better
Mhm.
at. So that's like the best thing ever for me that I like about it.
Do you think that, like, your fans would ever pay you for coaching?
So I've actually tried to do that, and because like all of them are just they jerk off to me.
Mhm.
It's there's people that hit me up. There are people, yeah, like on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then there's people on OnlyFans that do, but it's like a
Mhm.
very small percentage of them, which is understandable.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because, like, I feel like it's kinda like a career path you could go on, you know?
Yeah, it's a different fan base. I would have to
Mhm.
transition like my content. I would probably want to make like a different Instagram page, just start to do more YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Because right now, if I like I do on my personal Instagram,
Mhm.
I do when I do post a story, it's usually like a PR at the gym, like when I hit a
Yeah.
PR, because I when
What
I hit
are
it.
your P do you know your
Oh
PRs?
yeah, I keep track of
What
that,
are
like
they?
everything. So for squat, 405 for 3 is my best, and I don't use
Wow.
a belt or straps for anything.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
so that's my best for squat. That's all the way down. Like I go ass
Mhm.
grass. 405 for 3 on squat, and then deadlift 535 for 1. It's not crazy numbers, but deadlift is my
No,
best at
that's
anything.
awesome.
Yeah, and then for bench I've done like 315 for 2. So I'm not crazy strong. Oh, I've done probably my most impressive is 225 for 2 reps
Mhm.
on military press. That's like a good lift for me.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but I'm not crazy strong, but I really care about like
You are strong.
I like to be decently strong, but I care a lot about form and like
Yeah.
bodybuilding and just the contraction and just
Mhm.
being really decently strong, but also getting a good physique out of it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
well, and a lot of people don't understand bodybuilding and powerlifting are very different. Like, when you're powerlifting, you're eating not for aesthetics. You're eating for power, being able to be strong, and, like, most people that are in powerlifting, they're not cutting, bulking, like, they're just eating for strength,
Yeah.
and so but
Yeah, it's definitely different. Yeah.
yeah, it's do you what tips do you have for someone that is trying to get fit and healthy and stuff?
Well, just ask yourself like what's your like end goal? Do you have like a specific like I want to look like this, or I want to
Mhm.
lose this amount of weight, or do you want to actually like just you want to compete, or do you just ask yourself like what your goal is? But to be honest, the best way for you to get fit or get more healthier to through a fitness lifestyle is to just enjoy it and find like a routine that you enjoy, whether
Mhm.
it's like you like to run, or you like to work out in the gym, or you like to do anything physical. To be honest, it's going to help your fitness. it doesn't need to be the gym. So, and you
Yeah.
have to like it, because if you don't like it, you're not going to do it day in and day out, and you need consistency to actually see improvements.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing.
Hell yeah. What tips would you have for someone that's trying to get into gay?
So if you're trying to get into gay, if you're, to be honest, if you're a really good looking, like, muscular guy, if you have the right connections, it's really not that hard. Like, but it just depends on, like, uh, your connections is like is like a really important thing, because where I live in Canada, we're really close to Montreal, which is like the hub of gay,
Mm-hmm.
and we met a lot of the producers for, like, the biggest gay sites, like men.com and stuff, and that
Is
helped
that where
us.
they're based?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
wow.
film all their, like, a lot of their, that's where they're based, and they film a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff there. That's where, like, their biggest models are
Mm-hmm.
from, and we got to meet a lot of them. So, like, once you meet them, you can collab with them, and then um but I would just say, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way to do it. And you'll just, my biggest tip is just try to find the right connections and the right people. Once you start actually being able to collaborate with other models, like, then you're going to start gaining traction. But I think that if you have a look that people like, I think that's the main thing, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a look.
No, I think that's true, because I feel like you guys don't really like do a lot of like normal social media posting, in the sense of like you mainly just post your and like if people like you, they like you. Versus me as a creator, I post a lot more about like me as a person constantly, and like I feel like they have the girlfriend experience with me, but your fans really are just like, man, they're so fucking hot. I want to see their.
Well, yeah, that's true. But then at the
Oh,
same
you do
time,
stream though. I
yeah,
guess the streams are really personal.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, like, the streams, they're really personal. Like, people can actually see, like, the
Mm-hmm.
personality, but also on OnlyFans, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I chat with people, and like, people, like, there's a lot of people that I've chatted with for a long
Yeah.
time that have been fans for a while, and they can actually see the type of person I am. Also with Instagram, like, if they really like me, they'll see
Mm-hmm.
how into fitness I am, because
Yeah.
I'll like I said, like, fitness related stuff, I
Mm-hmm.
will post on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. I had like 100 thoughts when you said all that. Like, no joke. I was also thinking about too, like how far you've come in this short amount of time. Do you feel like you've become more successful just because you've put in the work? Or do you think it's like based on like the fact that you are so fit and like you've put in that effort into like your look? Because a lot of people, when it comes to in general, go for looks.
Well, so, like, when I said, like, it's your look that they go up.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, if you're more of like a top in the game, that's when the looks are important.
Yeah.
A lot more like the body and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're a bottom, you can be more. You don't have to be huge or anything. But
Yeah.
yeah, for gay, it's like really superficial. But sorry, what was the question again? Because I was
Like
gonna relate it to that. Sorry.
like basically like, do you think it attributed to your
Oh,
success?
yeah. So what I was gonna say was, like, at first we were just doing the straight stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was actually me that said, like, after I started to do the solo streams, I realized these actually do pretty well, and then after that, I realized my potential, and then I said,
Yeah.
okay, like, I'll go out of my way to go do collabs with different people,
Yeah.
by myself, like, with other guys, and then that's how I kind of realized, like, this is good. People, I could do well in this. And
Yeah.
it's fun. You meet really cool people. Guys are really chill to work with.
I
Like,
know,
every
I've
guy
got
I've
to
worked
see
with.
them this
Yeah.
trip. It's been kind of cool, like watching how you and Rowan like run the productions you guys do, and then like meeting the people you guys work with and seeing like the positive interactions and how you communicate your boundaries. That's been really cool to see. It's been fun because I've never like been on a set where they're shooting gay porn, and like that to me has been really fun. And also like just the boundary thing is really important to me, and it's been fun like seeing how you guys express that, because um when I'm on set as a female, like people literally ask me, what are your hard no's, versus you just bluntly say them.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we just, like, yeah, when we meet up,
you're
like, it's pretty
straight
chill.
out.
And, like, most of the like, no one's ever gonna judge. Like,
Mm-hmm.
most guys are really chill that we've
Yeah.
worked with. Everyone's cool with I usually just tell them, like, what I'm cool with, like, doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I guess for gay, there's certain things that are common, and then, like, depending on the type of
Mm-hmm.
model that you are and the type of content that you do, there's maybe, like, more stuff that, like, I never really have to say, like, don't slap me or anything. Like, I never
Yeah.
really have to say that. It's usually like, I don't do fucking, and I don't do
Yeah.
bottoming, pretty much.
So now you guys get to hear kind of what he does. But you guys
Yeah.
need to go and look him up. Go look up Creamy Bros too. Where can they find you? Like, what are the best places?
So if you do at Creamy Gorilla on Twitter, that's my Twitter handle. At Matt Luscious on Instagram, and then my OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/Creamy Gorilla. And then you can also find our updates for our website on uh, only or sorry at Creamy Bros on Twitter. So those are the
Yes.
best places to find us.
And they literally have like really awesome content. It's been fun to see their high quality and like who they're working with and stuff and how nice everyone is. But I'm so glad I got to have you on the podcast. Just remember, you guys, the links will be down below in the description, and you're always somebody's type. Have a great day, great night, and great week. Sydney out.